Madison Square Garden, world's most famous arena. Game number 8 for the Rangers this season. John and Dave with you on Bleeding Blueshirts in the Delta Club, right outside the Ranger dressing room, where they'll walk on that red carpet in about 2 hours and take the ice against the 8-1-1 Buffalo Sabres. David, the storyline, no doubt, is Kaapo Kakko, right? I mean, we talked about it on the very last live stream. The fans wanted to see it. The fans are going to see it tonight. Kaapo Kakko on the top line, Kreider on the left, Mika Zibanejad.
A little different look, right? I think there was the thought or hope or wish that he would play with Kreider. And I think, amongst other things, it was kind of looking for a little more magic for a team that's really struggling creating offense 5-on-5, right? And so you just kind of move some creative bodies around, spread the wealth a little bit, and you get a chance, and Kaapo will get a chance now to play in the top rotation, right? He's going to play with Mika and Chris Kreider. So I think, again, we will repeat this story, this young story, until it gets old.
Yeah, and it's not going to get old anytime soon.
No, it's not going to get old anytime soon. There are a number of things here, and of course there's been an awful lot of scuttlebutt in the media and conversation about an interview he had with a Finnish newspaper.
Right.
And
where he kind of called for more
playing time, but it's funny what gets latched onto, right? Because really he sets everything up by admitting that he hasn't been good enough. He doesn't like how he's playing. He's disappointed in his start. But what gets glommed on is the fact that he said he wants to play more. Well, listen, he's an 18-year-old, right? And we expect him to act like an adult when he's not an adult yet. He's really not.
He looks it physically, he looks it on the ice, but he's not.
And he's not. His thought process and why he's not going to be wily beyond his years to finesse his way through a conversation. It was a very honest conversation. That's how I would perceive it. It's not unlike, you and I are both parents, I guess it might become it gets a little stickier that way, but and perhaps David Quinn. I know David Quinn has met with him as a result of the conversation, but that's not out of the ordinary. He takes these young guys aside, so I just think that he's going to get an opportunity here, and it may work and it may not work.
Well, I know a lot of Ranger fans are going to want to know. So we've seen what he could do, glimpses, flashes with other line mates. How does what we've seen from him so far translate when it's Mika Zibanejad as his centerman and Chris Kreider as his left?
Well, he's playing with a legitimate NHL #1 center, right? In the fact, and not only we tend to look at, but in all 3 zones. Right. Mika has evolved into a 3-zone top center iceman. So from starters, he'll see that up close and personal. Now, be interesting at some point if you couldn't sit down with the coach or coaching staff and figure out, okay, what is the thought? Why do you think this is going to work? Is it because I think Chris Kreider is getting incrementally better, and they need him to do that, right? But he seems to be on the puck a little harder. He seems to be opening up space for himself. He seems to be opening up space for the people he's playing with, and he seems more engaged, right? And so I think Kakko he's a puck possessor and a shooter, right? He's not afraid to hold the puck. Ultimately, he has to be confident enough to shoot it, and who knows that room, so the room that Kreider should create, and the creativity and the honest hockey that Mika brings every night, for an 18-year-old, he stepped into a wealth of knowledge and a wealth of competence.
So that's the space element of time and space. How about the time? Again, having played on a European rink, which is bigger, and you can obviously take more time to make a decision. How have you seen his timing so far?
It's not there yet, and really, why would it be there? He's 7 games into a complete culture change as to how the game is played on the ice. And on the ice, you can go one-on-one battle. There's much more room. So when you escape on a bigger ice surface, there's not a second and third body on top of you by and large. And if a second and third body is on top of you, there's somebody else open in that great amount of ice that's available, right? So what I'd be able to see is like, the more veteran defenders, that have faced Kakko, they play his body. They don't give him a lot of space, and there's not a lot of space to begin with. But he'll learn, and that term that we use, time and space. He'll find his time. He'll find his space, but it's just going to take time.
How about this? When you're a #2 overall draft pick for a franchise that is in an admitted rebuild or build, you automatically then become the signature player of that franchise. How much of this do you think, if any, has to do with maintaining and assisting in his confidence. Because like you said, in an interview 6 games into his career, he admitted he hasn't been good enough. Putting him with players of high NHL caliber, is there a thought process from David Quinn and the coaching staff to do that, to help keep his confidence high? Because you don't want to lose a kid at 18.
Yeah, well, if you lose a kid at 18, and then the kid...
Then he wasn't in the
Yeah, you know, he's there because he believes in who he is, right? And it's... Also, we have to remember there's a culture difference too. There's a language difference. There's a lifestyle difference. The kid's living with a family, and you know, and there's just all kinds of things that go on that just have to be figured out, right? And I think we're going to see a guy tonight, Jack Eichel, who was a #2 pick in his draft year, who's now, I thought he was in his 4th. This is going to be his 5th year.
Yeah.
He's going to be 23.
Yeah.
So, okay, Eichel had 82 points last year, his 4th year. So that's 3 years. You know, he had 50, he had, you know, he had points. But that's 240 games. Kakko's played 7.
Yeah.
7. And Jack grew up in the North American system. Jack grew up on the smaller ice surface. They're not quite the same player, they play different positions. But it's all tried and true over time that you just need time. He needs time. He comes in, there are reasons to expect a lot from him. That comes with the turf. He expects it, everybody else. But it's not like he's throwing it away. He said, you know what, I quit. You know, he wants to be better, he will be better.
The secondary part of the story of putting Kakko on right wing on the first line, he'll be the 4th right winger on that first line this year already, is that Artemi Panarin comes off it. Now he's second line left wing, Strome in the middle, and Buchnevich on the right. Speak to the fallout of Kakko moving up to where that puts that second line. Does it give the Rangers a better chance to have slightly more balance?
Well, I suspect that's the hope, right? Because it's not working. We've talked about this before, is if this lineup's here on Sunday when we play the Bruins, it worked.
Yeah.
And until it's amazing how quickly a win will answer a lot of questions, right? Because when you win, you don't have to answer questions.
Right. It's validation.
It's validation of what you've done,
Yeah.
right? So I think the issue there's a little bit of an issue too when you look at the components of this roster, and it is real. The more creative guys like to go this way, like to go east-west. Those whole plodding Canadians, we go north-south, right?
There's a big cry for
That's
north-south
right.
around here, though. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, it's like the Maseratis go this
Yeah,
way,
yeah.
now this whole Ford pickups go
that's
this
right.
way, right?
The 150s, yeah.
So and also, there's been a lot of things that I think, let alone your youth, let alone the odd schedule, let alone you haven't been on the road, let alone you're just trying to figure out a mix of different styles, different languages. Now, is it as simple as playing Pavel Buchnevich with a countryman, Artemi Panarin? Maybe it is that simple. Maybe it is that simple. And then you have with Strome in the middle. So,
And Buch is usually the beneficiary of a good passer.
Yeah.
Panarin's a terrific passer, so
I-
maybe it does work.
right.
Yeah.
No, and then you know, then it goes down. Then you get into your kind of more grinding unit with the Howden, Lemieux, and Jesper Frost. So I just think it's still, you know, somebody will say, well, don't you have to stick with something to see if it works?
It's got to work.
It's got to work. Yeah, it's got to show some signs of working, because really, when you watch, you know, it's funny, watch the Arizona game. And lots of times when I go to watch it, a lot of times it's better than I thought it was, right?
On second glance.
On second glance, or not nearly as poor. I'll tell you that first period.
It was everything that we saw live.
God!
Yeah.
So you have to hope that
34-8 chances.
Yeah,
You know, usually,
you
or
have to
attempts.
hope.
You don't
And
see
there was
one.
no. It was just the lack, but then it crept in. It got better, and so there wasn't a whole lot of. And that's again, you listen to Rick talk at Arizona. He did this. That was as good a 20 minutes as they'll ever play. So you weather the storm, you're down one. But I just think that. You know, tonight we look at this, hope it starts better, and because the goaltending hasn't been an issue, the goaltending's been good.
Yep.
And you just need to find a way, you know, you need to do it better, find a way to score.
And it'll be Henrik Lundqvist tonight in goal against Carter Hutton. So before we go, because we're going to talk to David Quinn, a word on the opponent. 8-1-1 for the Sabres so far this year. They've had a 10-game winning streak last year, but also lost 15 out of 16 down the stretch. Which Buffalo Sabres team are we seeing, and why are they 8-1-1 out of the gate?
Well, they're getting spectacular goaltending, and you cannot discount the influence that a veteran, cerebral coach has had on this group.
And that's Ralph Kruger.
Right? He comes in and a little more of a mystical, really in a lot of ways, it was trade through the EPL, right?
Right, yeah. English Premier League
Soccer. And he comes in, and all of a sudden, it's just they look more disciplined. And Jack, see, the thing with Eichel has always been like his body language is compete, you know. So I watched the last 2 games they played. He's been great. Reinhardt's been better. Dahlin now is a second-year defender, first overall pick. He has 10 points. Reinhardt's been better. Middlestad's coming along. So I think David Quinn was a good pick for this team because they were really in the stages of infancy. Buffalo, when he gets them, are more toddler to top.
You said, that rounding the corner.
Yeah, they're rounding
instead
the
of
corner.
seeing the corner.
Right. So I just think there's been a combination of facts. Ristolainen, the big defenseman, I've always loved that guy, the way he plays. And they've got some horses there. So are they a team that's going to go 10-0 and then go 0-15? No,
Probably not like
probably not. No, probably not like that. They're trending higher. They're good hockey.
It's going to be fun. We have a lot of storylines. We just covered some of them. There'll be plenty more. 6:30 for the pregame on MSG. 7 o'clock for the call. Sam and Joe up in the booth. Dave is between the benches. I'll be hosting. And we'll see you again on Bleeding Blue Shirts on Sunday night. Rangers and Bruins here at the Garden. It doesn't get any easier in October.